Hi guys, Ray here. Welcome back to my channel once again. I know it's been a while since I've made any videos, but I believe the last one I made was of me traveling to Texas, meeting up with Eric Henderson of Adventures Afield. I thought you meant 11 Belize time.
Oh, no, same time, same time.
Hi Eric. Picking up 3 Texans and bringing them back to Belize. I know my intentions originally was to make a video quite recently after picking up the weapons, but I must say that I have had a really busy year, and it's almost a year now since I've gotten this gun. I've went through a lot with it, and I think that I now have good points and good information regarding this weapon that I could share with you, and I hope that you enjoy. So stick around to see what the Airforce Texan Carbine in 457 has to offer. So what's cool about the Airforce Texan? Well, first of all, this platform is only 39 inches long, which is very short for any gun. Hunting in Belize, we often hunt in tight brush areas, and this weapon has performed well over the past year with me going in some really tight areas. So if you're a hunter that goes into thick brush areas or need a shorter platform for maybe in a blind or something like that, then this weapon is definitely the choice for you. I went with 457 because it gives me a lot of power. Ranging from 300 to 400, 450 foot-pounds of energy. I've even seen up to 500 foot-pounds of energy from platforms like this without any upgrades. This is the Texan Carbine, and it was one of the first with the TX2 valve, and that valve has made a hell of a difference in this gun. Another thing why I love the Airforce guns is the 3000 psi fill. 3000 psi is a lot of air, but it's a lot less expensive and troublesome as 4500 psi. So I love this platform that I could get a lot of shots off my tank. I have here a 3500 psi tank with a high volume, and it gives me, I could tell you I could shoot maybe 30 shots off this gun on one fill, which I think is exceptional for a big bore. So that's another reason why I chose the Airforce Texan. Not to mention its accuracy. I've had issues over the past year with accuracy. In regards to this gun, I went from shooting with UTG Bugbuster, which I thought was a pretty good scope, but turns out it's not the best when it comes to accuracy. Every time I adjust even the zoom or the adjustable objective, I would get points of impact shifting and all that. So I've tried a lot of ammo. This is my second scope on here. This is the Hawk Vantage 3 to 9 by 50, and I also have a set of BKL mounts, which I've come to know that it is also made by Airforce. So I think that's pretty interesting, and these rings along with this scope has been performing well for me. I've gotten groups of under an inch at 100 yards, and I've even gotten around 2 inches at 130 yards. I haven't pushed much further. I would probably never take a shot like that here on any animal, but it's good to know that it is possible. And I must say that it is possible due to Neal Tressler. Man, this guy is really awesome. So when I wanted to buy my second big bore, I started speaking to Neal, and Neal said, hey, any caliber, any gun you get, just let me know and I could make a slug that will perform well out of that gun and get the job done. After a lot of deliberations, I ended up with the 457 Texan, and lo and behold, a couple months later, here it is. Neal sent me these slugs free of charge just to try out. I believe Neal just likes the idea of knowing that his slugs are taking animals and performing well and making other people happy. And I think that is the true nature of this sport. I have met a lot of air gunners that have the exact same interest as Neal does, but Neal is very passionate. And I have to thank him for these slugs. These are his 232 grain fireball slugs. Man, best slugs I ever used in this gun. Not to mention, of course, there are other options of slugs. I've had great success with the 350 grains Air Ventura slugs or the Hunter's Supply. They both work exactly the same. And I've come to learn that the barrel for the Texan was actually made around that slug. Well, that's the understanding I was given. And I must say, at 50 yards, I've tried them and they're punching hole in hole. But they're a little too heavy and slow for my liking, so that's why I went for these Neal Tresslers. Of course, Nick Nielsen from Nielsen Specialty Ammo, they also make great slugs, but man, like I said, I like a harder cast alloy and bigger hollow points, and that's why I opted to bring these slugs into this video. Okay, so today, that's enough talking. I think it's time to start shooting and show you what this gun can do. I have my target here set up at 60 yards. I'll do just a reconfirmation of zero. I have it zeroed at 60 yards as my far zero. My near zero is around 20 yards. I could explain later in a follow-up video why I chose that setup. But let's start shooting and see what the gun does. Hey guys, I have to apologize. I brought out two cameras, one for the shooter's perspective and one for the downrange shooting, but I have a little malfunction and I'm not going to be able to show you the targets while I'm shooting them. So you're just gonna have to trust me that whatever points I'm giving you is true. I have no reason to lie. So yeah, I have the Texan here filled up at around 2800 psi or so. I found that to be the best range for shooting. So we're going to try the target here at 60 yards. Let me get set up here. Guys, I don't have any fancy gun rests or anything of that sort. So what I do is I just rest it here on a bag or something to take my shots. So we're set up here at 60 yards, and let's see how she's doing after being in a box for a couple of days. Man, I love this gun. Okay, it's dead on at 60 yards. I'm going to show you at the end of this video, or maybe I'll just cut it and put it in here that you could see. It's dead on at 60 yards. Like I said, these rings and this scope, man, I want to urge every single air gunner, even if your gun costs 200 bucks, invest in a good scope. It has cost me a lot of money shooting, getting bad groups, blaming the gun, blaming the ammo, blaming everything else except the rings and the scope. It worked on my other rifles, but I wasn't as demanding as I am of any gun before as I am of this Texan. I've owned many guns before. I actually had a 909, and I love that gun, but it was closer range. I wasn't shooting 100 yards. This gun I probably won't be hunting at 100 yards, but it's good to know the Texan is a platform that could get it done. Although most of my shots probably will be within the 50 to top 60 yard range, it's still good to know that it could reach out, and being able to hit the bullseye every single time I pull the trigger is a great feeling. And I know hunting in the field is a lot different from shooting from the bench, but it gets worse. In the field it gets worse. And let's say I'm off 2 inches on the bench. When I get into the field, if I mess up and I pull the shot maybe 2 to 3 inches, and then I'm off 2 inches again in the gun, that's 4 or 5 inches off target. And so on the bench, I like getting as accurate as I could, even though it's not necessary. It's still good because of the style of hunting that I choose. I mostly walk and stalk, so I would probably meet up with an animal that I don't have a proper rest. And so these types of accuracy is really satisfying, and it really makes me love this gun a whole lot more than I ever did. I actually thought about selling it at one point. I took it down, cleaned everything, and I just, every single time my shots were off. But since I've gotten this scope and these rings, the self-centering rings are really, to me, they're mandatory on any air gun. So yeah, I'll just move out to 100 yards and then we'll wrap up, and I'll speak more about the gun and show you the grouping and let you draw your own conclusions from there. Of course, you could ask me any questions. Today I'm shooting some targets that I made. They're actually meant for zeroing. I have 1 inch increments on the target, and I also have a square which represents, I believe it's around 3 inches, which would be, like, to me, my kill zone. So it's a great little target. If you can't find, you could message me here and I could email it to you. It's no problem. So yeah, let's move the target out to 100 yards and see what we could do there. Okay guys, we're now set up at 100 yards. I have the gun filled here to 2800 psi. I've done previous shots with this gun at 100 yards and I've noticed that it has dropped to around 10 inches. I'm sorry for this guys, I really have to apologize, but it's super humid. You have no idea how humid it gets here in Belize. Living in the tropics is no joke. It gets really hot and really humid sometimes, and it's summer, so. But yeah, yeah, I've gotten 10 inch drop at 100 yards with this projectile. We know that a mil is probably around 3 point something inches at 100 yards at 10x with these scopes. I'm around 9 times, around 9x. So yeah, I should be holding somewhere around 3, I believe around 3 mils over. I was holding 2 a second ago, according to my app, but obviously you can't trust these stuff unless you have all the correct data. I don't have exact velocity and I don't have the exact BC, so it sometimes throws these factors off. But yeah, let's try this and see what happens at 100 yards. Okay, so the elevation is dead on. It hit a little bit left, but that's completely acceptable. It's oh man. Okay, the final thoughts on my Airforce Texan in 457. I love it. I really love this gun. Being able to pass through tight brush and having this small 39-inch weapon with a flat trajectory. I'm holding dead on from maybe around 15 yards all the way to 65 yards, and I could hit less than an inch or maybe an inch and a half, the most deviation up and down. And with the self-centering rings, it's never left or right. It's always straight in a line from 0 to at least to 100, which we're shooting. After re-zeroing the last time shooting, I have this gun. I've went hunting a couple of times. I've locked it up in a case. I've banged it around, and my first shot at 60 yards is dead on. If you can't see it in this video, I'll definitely clip a picture in so you can see it better. So yeah, dead on at 60 yards. It's about a half inch left, which I believe I might have to click the scope just maybe a couple clicks right, because at 100 yards it also seemed to be left just a bit. But yeah, 60 yards, which is my intended maximum hunting distance, dead on. So more than happy. And when I got down there, this steel plate looked a lot better than I thought. I don't know if you could see here, I shot 4 shots, so 2 went almost in exactly the same spot. 1 went exactly where I aimed, and the other went just a tad bit high. But I'd say the 3 shots here is about an inch and a half, which is what I think is more than exceptional at this range. This plate is around 8 inches. If you could see, it's pretty. This will kill any animal all day long. I would say about an inch and a half for 4 shots at 100 yards. I hit magnified optics. Yeah, it made the group look way bigger than it actually was. So this is exceptional. Almost minute of angle grouping. But like I've said, this isn't my best shooting. I don't think today is my best shooting day. Maybe because it's so freaking hot and humid. But yeah, I've shot this grouping almost to 130 yards, which I think is more than acceptable for a gun like this. So yeah, I think that's all I have for today. Yeah, so the Airforce Texan altogether is a great gun. I've shot full length Texans, I've shot the SS, I've shot the 308s, and man, they all perform flawlessly. But this is my favorite gun so far. So yeah, thanks for tuning in again, guys. If you have any questions, you could leave it in the comments below. I would be happy to answer them. Like I said, you could leave your emails. I could send you a copy of this target. It's a great little target for zeroing and all that. Again, I would like to say thanks to Eric Henderson of Adventures of Field for hooking me up with this gun from Airforce Airguns. Cameron, thank you. This guy had the guns made for me in just a few days notice, and I really appreciate that. And they also have really great customer service. I got a huge package from Airforce Airguns. Again, I have to thank these guys for hooking me up. And also compressed air services, sorry, here in Belize. They're my go-to compressor source. They give me great deals and great customer service all the time on my HPA needs, so I want to thank these guys also. And yeah, like I said, Airforce Texan 457 carbine, TX2 valve, 2800 PSI, BKL mounts, hot sport optics scope, man, you really can't go wrong with a platform like this. So yeah, like I said again, thanks for tuning in, guys. And if you like, you could leave any questions in the comment, or future topics for videos. I would be happy to make a video for them. And I do hope that you enjoyed this video this time around. I apologize for taking so long, but man, here in Belize, it's been crazy. So yeah, stay safe, guys. Wear a mask, and thanks for tuning in again.